All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk immigration. We know that in the between 1840 and 1860, we have almost 4 million immigrants to the United States, and we see different periods of immigration in the United States. This period is mostly immigrants from Western and Northern Europe. The later half of the 19th century, we see immigrants from Southern and Eastern Europe. But we have a lot of different reasons, push and pull reasons for uh, people coming to the United States. First one is a big pull thing. The idea of high wage industrial jobs, lots of land for farming, those kind of things played a big role in people wanting to come here to the U.S. We have issues of potato blight. We have wars happening in Europe. You have low fares now on ships. You have steamships going across the ocean. So it's not 2 months now, it's like 3 weeks. Makes life a lot easier, makes transportation a lot easier to and from Europe. But we do see this big mass immigration. The question is, what impact is this big mass immigration going to have on the country during our time of the early 19th century? So, look at immigration. So, the years, there's going to be years here, 1820, 1860, with the dates being cut off here. But we can see that immigration shoots up really, really quickly here in the United States. So, 1820, we're talking about 8,000 maybe per year. By 1850, we're talking about 420,000 people. So there are huge jumps in here as we go through immigration and see how much immigration tends to increase over time here. Um, so as we have, about 4 million immigrants coming from this period of time period right here, 1840, 1850, a huge number of people coming to the United States. It's kind of a big deal. Now, one of the big reasons is that in the 1840s, we have a potato blight that hit Ireland. Now, Ireland had what's called a lump potato because it was essentially such an inbred potato. It caught the blight very, very bad. So these potato fields are just rotting away. Funny thing is, there's actually enough wheat in Ireland to feed everybody, but the British government's taking that wheat to over to England. So most of the poor of Ireland were starving. You see some of the sketches here of people starving to death trying to find a potato. I mean, the idea of potatoes were big in Ireland because you could honestly, you can live on two potatoes and a little bit of milk. You can survive on that every single day if you want to. Um, but you kind of see a huge population fall in Ireland. And the darker the color here, the larger that population goes down, either by way of death or by way of emigration out of the country and heading to places like the United States. So we have not only 1 million dead in Ireland, but only 1.5 Irish immigrants leave Ireland and come to the United States. Now, where they settle? They mostly settle in the big city areas. They're coming, they were poor. They didn't really have a chance to move to a farming village and set up shop. So we see the darkest areas here, all right? We're Ireland, we're Irish. So Boston, New York City, Philadelphia to a degree, even a little bit over here in Chicago. So now we have this huge pocket of Irish that are settling. Now, the biggest knock on the Irish, they were Catholic. The United States, being originally settled by Britain, was staunchly Protestant. Protestants, Catholics don't necessarily get along. And so we have kind of this new religion moving in, and they looked down upon in a lot of different ways. Um, like I said, being poor, settling in New York and Boston Harbor. Now, the other group coming over here are the Germans. Germans have a little different story. Germans are leaving Germany, which is not really Germany at this point. It's a German confederation, basically. It's Prussia, little city states here and there. And it's basically a giant war zone in Germany. Lots of fighting going on. And so they're escaping war, looking for a better life. My family came over here from Germany around 1848, 1846 or so. And so, one of the big things that Germans were trying to escape was required military service. A lot of these city states in the German area required their citizens to serve a mandatory time in the army. And they're like, screw that, I don't want to do it. Also, all this fighting, lots of lands being taken up, being taken away. German groups want to be farmers. They want to live their life, have a little farm. There wasn't enough room in Germany for them to do that. The United States had that idea. Now, this is kind of where we bring in our, Wisconsin history here. Notice where most Germans are settling. Ta-ta! We're like right there, okay? We're right in the heart of German country. What's kind of cool about this idea of settling here is that if you had enough money, you could settle out here in what is now Wisconsin because this is where the land was. This is where land was available. Also, Wisconsin, looks a lot like Germany. If you ever get the opportunity to travel through Germany, or if you look at that picture of Germany, has same rolling hills, same features. It's kind of like you're going through Wisconsin, and so we can just kind of see, a lot of people bought, some who couldn't afford it would then stay on the coast or settle in more industrial cities like Chicago. Big hit for Germans, also now in Texas too, believe it or not. But mostly here in this area, we're talking for German settlement. Um, Looking at how many immigrants come in. All right, I mean, all through the big cities here, New York is by far the biggest in terms of where immigrants are coming from and settling. You have the development of things like ethnic enclaves, German section, Irish section. You have social standing within cities being taken by different groups. Germans a little higher up than Catholics were. I mean, Catholics were the idea of being Irish Catholic kind of in New York kind of fit into the fire department, police department, have certain kind of jobs and roles with each place. When you come to these towns, you kind of buy land there because you or rent because you have no other place to go. So these cities became big ethnic areas. Some poverty, yes, because of German ethnic area of not German, just ethnic area in general. But every immigrant group kind of became a role within the city, had their little area of the city they took up, and that was kind of their little spot. Um, just kind of see, immigrants working as miners, jobs they could get, factory, factory jobs were available that immigrants took. Factories, mining, farming weren't available. Those were immigrants they took. Kind of some cool pictures you're looking at. Working in a mine here. There's later pictures, obviously. Um, you can kind of tell there were some different times here. In some cities, uh, immigrants weren't real popular, especially the Irish immigrants. You can see this ad here from 1854, no Irish need apply. And so the Irish definitely looked down upon as being a problem, being trouble, had certain features that people didn't like. Being Catholic was one of the issues with Irish immigrants. And this is where the idea of nativists come in. Nativists were people who were trying to limit native immigration. They essentially blamed immigrants for stealing jobs and for being criminals and drunks, those kind of things. To quote South Park, the phrase of "they took our jobs" comes in here. And honestly, it's kind of funny when you think about the arguments of nativists in 1854. Same exact arguments being made by anti-immigration people today. Jobs, crime. Ask Donald Trump what he says. Crime, jobs, all those kind of things play a role. And so, think about history repeating itself. We're seeing it right here, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a little cartoon. We'll look more of these later on, but you can see we have lager beer, Irish whiskey, ballots, and so there's a group called the Know Nothings that developed this town, and the Know Nothing Party accuse Irish and Germans of stealing elections and that kind of stuff because people would get them drunk and then have them go vote. The Know Nothings were a nativist party that's developed, and people didn't want to be known to this party because they didn't want their real feelings being thrown out there. He became the Know Nothings. If they asked you, what do you know? He said, I know nothing. Get it? And, they definitely hurt election. Definitely considered immigrants to be a problem. They were definitely a nativist party trying to push a nativist agenda. Um, it was mostly these middle class white Protestants. They split away from the Whigs, who before this were trying to be the anti-democrats. Now this new Know Nothing party that develops this time in the 1850s. They're a big third party. They actually carry a lot of seats in Congress for a short period of time and really split the Whigs up. The Whigs here have a lot of trouble fighting against Democrats because people keep splitting off from them. First is Know Nothings, then it's going to be the Republicans, and so on and so forth. The Whigs will fall apart. But how it works. Here we kind of see some jokes here about an Irish thug and Catholic priest carve up the Democratic goose. Look here, we have the Irish guy looking like this evil critter and this creepy looking Irish priest here carving up, the Democratic Party and controlling that group. And so, like I said, the whole Catholic thing was a big issue for a lot of people, Irish immigrants coming over here. Obviously, you can see by this one is one of my favorite. I don't agree with the cartoon, but it's very interesting. Notice the alligator crocodiles here. They're dressed like the Pope. They're wearing a Pope hat, and they're coming to attack people and destroy people. So a lot of this anti-Catholic movement was part of it. I mean, obviously it was a big deal in 1960 when JFK elected president and he's a Catholic. And so Catholicism was a at this time a scary thing. It was not being Protestant. Um, and so, they're attacking public schools with conveyances of an Irish Catholic. And, this idea of, the Catholic Church attacking people in schools and that kind of thing. Here we see Irish immigrants as these ape-like barbarians who fight and get drunk and all that kind of stuff. We see stereotypes develop. We brought them up in class early last week. Oh, they're Irish, blah, 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 whatever. It's a stereotype that was created by people. It was a stereotype that was promoted by the media. Oh, you're Irish means you're some drunken broad who's going to get drunk and beat the living crap out of stuff and destroy things. Here it says, brutal attack on the police the day we celebrate Irish riot, rum, blood. Dude, I mean, can't see the stuff here. Here, Uncle said, look here. Everybody was quiet and peaceful. You're always kicking up a riot. We have all of our immigrants here. We have our Irishmen and our Englishmen and our German and our Russians and everything else we have here. Kind of this cartoon saying people are coming over here and causing trouble, causing problems, which wasn't always the case. But a lot of times the nativist media would push that whole deal. Guys, there's a lot of stuff going on here, okay, in terms of everything happening with immigrants this time. Check this out with the notes. Read your textbook as well. We're going to talk more about this in class on Tuesday. Thanks a lot, everybody.